All right. So, hello and welcome everyone. So, we are live right now. So, I welcome all of you to this particular channel of Pradhan Academy. So, today we are again back with the another important concepts of chapters. And now, today onwards, we are basically starting with the JEE Mains revision series, right? So, every day we are basically coming live in the evening where we are going to discuss each and every topic of maths for JEE Mains second attempt, right? So this session is going to be a quick or a fast recap of the entire concept of the JEE Mains straight lines. Okay, so we will start with straight lines today. Okay, and we will be basically discussing about all the important questions of JEE Mains straight lines, and we are also going to discuss what are the different patterns of questions that has been observed over the past year, right? So if you are new to this particular channel, I would definitely welcome you all of you over here. And if you haven't subscribed to the particular channel, please do generally subscribe to the particular channel because we are going to come live every day where we are going to discuss each and every different topics of maths for your JEE Main second attempt. Okay. So students who are basically afraid of the preparation, that they said that haven't done the preparation nicely, don't worry. We are basically going to help you out with every sort of need, right? So if you watch this particular session nicely and if you be with me throughout the session, you will definitely understand how to solve different types of problems. And with that problem, you will basically get equipped with all the important question solving strategies and necessary skills that you need to definitely develop before you go on to solve the actual problem in a JEE Mains, right? So let's start with this today's session, and today we're going to be discussing about straight lines, right? So I'll be the instructor for this particular course, and let's get started, right? So our goal is basically going to discuss about, we're going to be starting to discuss about some of the important concepts of the straight lines. Along with that, we're also going to discuss slightly the concepts of pair of straight lines, right? But we are basically going to restrict ourselves to the most important question topics, okay? Because you know the straight line is a big chapter and it's a very basic chapter for coordinate geometry, right? So if you have to grasp the chapter, you have to know certain basic concepts, and that we are going to discuss in this class before we are starting to solve with questions, right? We are going to discuss about the previous year problems of JEE Mains. We are also going to practice both MCQ based problems as well as numerical based problems for your JEE Mains, right? We are also going to incorporate some of the previous year questions from JEE Advanced integer type problem. If you go and watch the previous year problems, and if you just do some statistical analysis, okay, you will try to understand that mostly the question that has been already asked in a JEE Mains are definitely some kind of question that has already been asked previously in JEE Advanced. So some of the JEE Advanced questions are basically asked in a JEE Mains as it is, just with some of the data manipulation, right? So you have to understand that how to solve those particular problems and get ready for your JEE Mains, right? We'll also see how we can predict the JEE Mains paper pattern, right? So we are basically going to discuss everything about this particular topic of straight lines in these today's sessions, okay? So if you're new to this particular channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and please hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out any upcoming notification, okay? And if you like this particular sessions and this particular initiative that is being taken by me, so definitely hit the like button and support me in this particular journey. Let's get started for this particular channel. Okay, so before we start, we have to discuss some of the important concepts. Now, what I feel like some of the important concepts that are basically important for starting or solving the questions quickly are some of over I have written over here. Okay, so if you just look at, I know you are basically familiar with all the basic parts, right? But still, I am basically discussing about the important parts. Now, many questions you have to basically deal with where you are basically have to discuss the problems of equation of a parallel lines or a perpendicular lines, right? So let me recall. So if we just have a, so if we have a general equation of straight line like this, okay, so this is one of the general equation of a straight line, right? This is a general equation of straight line, right? And from this general equation of straight line, we can definitely find the slope of this particular straight line as simple as the slope of this particular straight line is basically given as minus of a upon b, right? So if you just recall, you can simply find this particular result hold true, right? So our slope of this particular line, so our slope of this particular straight line can be given as minus of a by b, right? And now if you recall from your initial classes that we have discussed about some of the important topics as angle between two straight lines, right? So let us say this particular straight line has a slope m1 and the second straight line has a slope m2, and let us say this theta is basically the angle between the straight line, right? So if I need to calculate the angle between straight line, I'm simply going to use the concept of tan theta is basically given as m1 minus m2 divided by 1 plus m1 m2 and mod of it, because we want the acute angle, right? So from here you can definitely or easily calculate the angle between two straight lines, right? Now if I need to calculate the, if I need to say that, now there are two special cases. If the angle is theta 0 degree, right? If I say that both the straight lines are parallel, okay, if I talk about parallel straight lines, then my condition is basically m1 should be equal to m2. That is very simple and you know it, right? Now if the condition is, if the condition is like theta is basically pi by 2 or perpendicular, if theta is pi by 2 or perpendicular, then my condition is m1 m2 is equal to minus of 1, right? So if I have a straight line whose slope is minus of a by b, then the slope of the perpendicular line is basically going to be b by a, right? So therefore the equation of a line, the equation of a line which is perpendicular to this given line ax plus by plus c is equal to 0 is going to be bx minus ay plus some constant is equal to 0, right? And that particular constant we can easily find it out by the given condition that will be given in the problem, right? And if the line is parallel, then it will have the same slope but different constant. So a line which is parallel to this given line is basically of the same fashion in x and y, but will have a different constant k. Okay, so this particular constant can be simply eliminated just by the help of some of the given conditions. Okay, now that particular condition will definitely given in the problem. Okay, so we will see different problems where you are basically going to solve for questions where basically you have to find out a line which is parallel to a particular line or perpendicular to a particular line. So these are the most important topics that you need to understand. Okay, along with that, if you are basically given, if you are basically given the equation of a straight lines in the slope and intercept form, such that these particular lines are nothing but they are basically forming the sides of a parallelogram. Okay, so these particular sides are forming the sides of a parallelogram, then I can simply find the area of the parallelogram by just by doing this simple operation, that is c1 minus c2 into d1 minus d2 divided by m1 minus m2. So if you are basically given the slope and the intercept form of these straight lines of the given sides of the parallelogram, then we can simply find it out by the, so if these two lines are parallel, so the area is basically given as the subtraction of the parallel intercepts and the parallel intercept over here, and take the product of it and divide by the difference of the slope of m1 and m2, where m1 is one of the parallel line slope and m2 is one of the parallel line slope, right? So with this particular thing you can definitely directly find the area of this particular parallelogram, right? So very simple problem. Okay, now this is also very handy when you solve questions, basically when you basically have to solve the area of the parallelogram, right? So many students basically, I have seen that they try to find out the point of intersections. Okay, they try to find out these points and then they go about finding out the area of the triangle and they take the sum of it, right? And they take the twice of it, so that to get the area of the parallelogram, right? So but instead of doing that, you can directly get to the answer by just simply applying this formula. Okay, so this will be actually help you to reduce the number of steps in your calculations. Okay, I hope you got this part, right? So I will be basically looking at a live chat along with that, but for the time being please focus over here. Okay, and I will give you time for asking your doubts, but for the time being please focus over here. Okay, so if we have to also find out a equation of a line whose midpoint is basically given as x1 comma y1 and is between the axes, okay, and is in between the axes, then that particular equation of line whose midpoint is given and is between the axes is basically simply given as x by x1 plus y by y1 is equal to 2. Okay, now this was very handy in many questions. Okay, also now if you are given the problem where the area for triangle made by the line ax plus by plus c is equal to 0 and with the coordinate axis. So for example, if you are given a situation where the line is given like this and with the coordinate axis, this particular area is simply given as c square but divided by 2 times of a into b mod of that. Okay, because area cannot be negative, because ultimately we are discussing about the geometric area, right? Now next let's move to the next concept, is basically a straight line passing through x1 y1 and its intercept between the axes is dividing the ratio m is to n, then the point they at this particular point x1 y1, then the equation of the particular line is given as nx divided by x1 plus my divided by y1 is equal to m plus n. Now this is also a very important concept. Okay, now if you're not able to remember this, it doesn't matter much, right? But I'm basically showing you that will actually help you or reduce the number of steps of calculations. But if you're not able to remember it, doesn't matter, you can definitely go and derive these particular results. Okay, And one more important concept is that the equation of straight line, which basically makes a triangle with a coordinate axis and whose center is centroid, and the triangle centroid is basically given as x1 y1, then that particular equation of straight line is basically given as x by 3x1 plus y by 3y1 is equal to 1, right? So it is talking of the case that if you have a straight line like this with a centroid given as x1 y1, okay, this particular centroid is given as x1 y1 and it is forming a triangle with the coordinate axes. Okay, in this case you can definitely find out the equation of this particular straight line simply by this particular expression. I hope this part is clear. You can ask me if you have any questions. I will be going through your live chats. Please can definitely ask me any concepts, any confusion. If you have, you can definitely ask me over here. Okay, so I will be going through your live chats. Well, so I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? This part is pretty simple. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can definitely post that in the live chat. And if you're someone who is watching the lecture after the class is over, you can always ask me the questions in the comment section. Okay, I will be definitely answering your queries in the comment section. Okay, so I look forward for your queries. Okay, so let's now move to the next concept. So next concept is basically that if I have an isosceles triangle, now this is something that related to the geometric properties of a triangle. Okay, now mostly in the questions of straight lines, you will be definitely dealing with parallelograms and triangles, right? Or important sides of the triangles or important lines of the triangle, like median, like angle bisector, like or important centers like orthocenter, in center, circumcenter. Okay, like and centroid, those kinds of points you are going to deal mostly in this particular chapter. So it is very important to understand the geometric properties behind that, right? So let us see that if I have a triangle which is an isosceles triangle, then if any of its medians are equal, okay, a triangle is isosceles when any of its two medians. So if I have any two medians of the triangle equal, then that particular triangle is going to be an isosceles triangle. Okay, so if you just look over here, so if I have a triangle whose, for example, let us say this is one of the median, okay, and another median is like this. So if I have any two median equal, so if I have any two median equal, then this is basically an isosceles triangle such that this AB is equal to AC. Okay, this is a very straightforward understanding of properties. Okay, so if you have any questions where you have basically including questions of median and a triangle is given, so you have to basically consider the triangle as a isosceles triangle and proceed with it, right? And next important property is that a triangle having integral coordinates, can never be equilateral triangle. Now, this is very important. Okay, this very important property to understand that a triangle having integral coordinates can never be a equilateral triangle. Okay, now I leave this particular thing to proof by all of you. Okay, so if you have time, you can definitely prove this particular result. Okay, the proof of this particular I won't be discussing in this particular lecture because our lecture is basically more of like onto revision, right? So I will definitely request all of you to please try to prove this particular result. If you are able to do it, it will be wonderful. Okay, you will be having a full-fledged understanding of this particular topic, right? So let me know if any questions. Okay, so let us now move to the next problem, and the next problem is basically said that now this is a simple problem, that is basically that if you have the sides of a triangle given by this particular equation of the lines, that is ARX plus BRY plus CR is equal to 0, then the sides of the triangle, then the area of the triangle is simply given not by, so the area is basically given as 1 by 2 C1 C2 C3 into determinant of A1 B1 C1 and so on whole square of it, right? Where C1, C2 and C3 are just the cofactors. Okay, they are just the cofactors of small c1, small c2 and small 3 in the determinant. Okay, so this c1, c2 and c3 in this particular determinant, in this particular matrix, determinant of this particular matrix. So if you find out the cofactor of c1, it is basically capital C1, cofactor of c2 is basically given a capital C2, and cofactor of c3 is given by capital C3. Okay, so if you just try to calculate this particular expression given by this, then you are definitely going to calculate the area of a triangle. Okay, so instead of calculating this interior in points, so if you just try to, if you are given the sides of the triangle, then basically what students do, basically they try to find out these particular points of intersection. Okay, so they try to find out the point of intersection of these two straight lines, and from that point of intersection they try to find out the area of a triangle. Rather, if you're not even solving for the point of intersection, you can definitely find the area of a triangle in this particular method as well, right? But I leave this particular part to you to judge whether this particular part of the solution is easy, or by doing it by the way where you're basically calculating the point of intersection and then finding the area of a triangle is easy. So this totally up to you. Okay, now I am showing different methods to basically approach this particular solution. Okay, next, in these problems also we have to basically discuss about the area of a parallelogram as well, right? So area of parallelogram, so whose sides are basically given as A and B, and the angle between them is given as theta. So simply the area of parallelogram is given as AB sine theta, right? And if you are basically given as whose length of the perpendicular from one of the vertices on the opposite side is, so if you take one of the vertex and drop a perpendicular on the opposite sides, then these are basically given as P1 and P2, and the angle between the adjacent side is basically theta. Then the area of the parallelogram is given as P1 into P2 divided by sine theta. Okay, so this is something that you have already studied in the chapter. I'm just basically recalling these parts, okay, so that you are having no difficulty in order to proceed the problems, right? So I hope these particular concepts were clear enough. So let's now proceed with the problems. Okay, so I hope this part is clear to all of you. Please give me a thumbs up so that we can start or proceed with the problems. Okay, I hope this is clear to all of you. Let's now then move to the questions. Okay, so I have the first problem which is from the JEE Mains previous year problem. So this is onto your screen. So I would request all of you to please try to solve this problem by yourself. Then we proceed with the actual solution of it. Okay, so let us try to read the problem and let us try to understand what is this problem is about to say, right? So if you just try to go through the problem, you will understand that this question is talking about that a particular line, equation of a line is given. Okay, this question is talking about a particular equation of line x plus y is equal to 1. So let us try to draw. Now it is always advisable in the questions of JEE Mains. Now whenever you are basically given the rough page, please try to solve the problem as if you are solving it in a proper way. Okay, do not thinking that it is a rough work, do not do here and there anything. Okay, now if you are doing that here and there anything, like for example the first question solution is coming here, and for example this is a rough page, okay, and you are starting your first part solution over here and you're moving the diagonally of this page, and then second problem over here and moving across diagonal. If you are going like this, you will be definitely be in a situation where the problem input of this particular problem, second problem, will match with the first problem, and then you will take this different value and you get a different answer, and that particular answer will definitely given as an option, and you will mark the wrong option and will get a -1, or maybe you are not able to get the correct option, so you will just guess and get the -1. So I am warning you again and again, when you are basically solving in the rough, please try to properly do it, okay, as if you are doing it for your subjective paper. Okay, so if you are doing a subjective paper, then definitely try to do it by like this way, okay, step by step, then draw a line and do the second problem, draw a line, second problem, like this you do. Okay, now that will actually help you to understand the problems better, and also it will help you to clearly solve the problem as well. Okay, so you will be having no confusion or no doubt in solving any problem. Okay, so let us now proceed to the next problem. So this particular problem, okay, I hope you will keep these things in your mind, and so that you do not miss out any particular marks in your exams. Okay, so we are basically discussing so that you basically going to get a full marks in it. Okay, so I am basically trying my best effort to help you out with the different solutions so that you understand how to solve the problems as well as and how to prepare for the actual exam. Okay, so that you have no difficulty and you can definitely crack this JEE Mains examination. Okay, so with this, let's start. So question is given that the line is basically given as, so the line equation is given as x plus y is equal to 1, which is basically like this, right? And it intersect the x and y axis at A and B respectively, right? So it intersect the y at B and x at A. So it is A, it is going to be B, right? Now what is said that a right angle triangle AMN, a right angle triangle AMN is inscribed in the triangle OAB, right? So it is inscribed inside the triangle OAB. So let us say that this is a one right angle triangle, right? So this is, say, let us say M, this say N, okay, which where O is the origin and M and N lies on the line, because N lies on the line AB and M lies on the line OB, right, like this way. So we can see this is a perpendicular over here, right? And if the area of the triangle, this particular smaller triangle area, is basically given as 4 by 9 times the area of a triangle OAB, and AN is to NB, AN is to NB is basically given as lambda is to 1. Okay, so this is basically divided in the section formula. Okay, so let us say, so if this have the input of the question, let us say how will we solve for the given possible sum of the solutions of the lambda, right? We have to basically find out the sum of the roots of lambda, right? So let us try to proceed with the problem. So if I ask you what is this area of the triangle AOB, so area of a triangle OAB is basically going to be equal to simply, so this particular intercept is 1 and this particular intercept is 1. So you can see that the area of this particular triangle is going to be half into base into height. So that is going to be equal to 1 upon 2 square units, right? Now, from here, I can definitely find the information about the area of a triangle, AMNN, right, which is basically nothing but 4 by 9 times the area of a triangle OAB, right, which is basically going to be 2 upon 9, right. So 2 upon 9 is going to be the area of this particular shaded region, right. Now, in order to find this particular coordinate of n, now why do I need to find out the coordinate of n? Let me explain you. See, if you see over here, this particular OB and OA are equal, right? So you can understand this is an isosceles triangle. OAB triangle is an isosceles triangle. So this particular angle is going to be 45 degree. Similarly, this particular angle is also going to be 45 degree. So let us say this particular angle is basically equal to theta. So this particular angle is going to be 45 minus theta, right? So this part is clear, right? Now, if this is given to all of you, then from here I can simply write this AM. I can simply write this AM. So if I just use some of the trigonometry, okay. So some simple trigonometry, I can write AM as nothing as OA divided by cos of 45 minus theta, right? So if I just simply use this trigonometry in this triangle OM and A, then I can simply write AM as OA divided by cos of 45 minus theta, right? And as well, I can also find out AN simply as sec of, so OA is basically 1, so I can write this 1 upon cos, which is basically sec of 45 minus theta. So this is going to be sec 45 minus theta into cos of theta, right? Because I need to find out AN, and AN is basically the projection, the projection on this AN line, right? That is going to be that particular AM distance into cos theta of it, right? So, and similarly, you can find out MN is basically going to be sec of 45 minus theta into sine theta. I hope this part is clear, right? So from this particular information, so I have the information about AN, which is basically equal to sec of 45 minus theta into cos of theta, and I have MN as basically secant 45 degree minus theta into sine theta. So from these two information, I can simply find the area of the triangle AMNN is basically equal to half times the secant square 45 minus theta into sine theta cos theta, right? Into sine theta cos theta, right? And this particular area is going to be 2 upon 9 that we have already found out, right? So from this particular solution, you will see that this is basically becoming like this is basically nothing but it is becoming like so if you just try to simplify this part by yourself, you can definitely do it. Okay, it's nothing difficult of it. So what I would suggest is that now if you take this, so sine theta cos theta will basically become sine 2 theta. Okay, so or you can keep it in cos theta. Okay, or you can keep it in cos theta and proceed also. That is not a issue. So divide by 4 times the cos square cos square 45 minus theta, right? Now if you know that half angle formula, so I can definitely write cos 2 theta as basically 2 times of cos square theta minus 1, right? So from here 2 cos square theta is going to be equal to cos 2 theta plus 1. So I can just simply simplify this particular solution as sine 2 theta divided by 2 times of, so 2 times of bracket 2 times of uh, this is going to be inside the bracket is going to be equal to cos of 2 times of 45 minus theta plus of 1, right? So you can see from here you will get the solution as sine cos 90 minus 2 theta, which is going to be nothing but sine 2 theta, right? This particular part is going to become sine 2 theta, right? So from this part you're basically going to get a solution close from equation, right, in sine 2 theta. So if you just try to solve in sine 2 theta, you'll definitely get the roots, right? So I have got the roots as, so basically from this particular manipulation, I got the root, one of the roots as theta is basically equal to tan inverse of 1 by 2. That's what I've got. Okay. So you can just definitely check out that you will get one of the root as theta is equal to tan inverse of 1 upon 2. That means tan theta is basically 1 by 2. You'll get it. Okay. From this particular part of solution, you can definitely get this, right? And again, we have an divided by n times of b is basically given as lambda by 1, right? So what is an and what is nb? So if you just look at an and nb, so an is going to be equal to So this an is going to be what? It is basically this sec of 45 minus theta times the cos theta, and this bn distance is going to be, simply this total length divided minus this particular length, right? So that particular ratio is basically given as lambda by 1. So what I can do over here, instead of, so I know this particular entire distance is root 2, right? So lambda times of root 2. So if I try to do it in this way, then lambda times of root 2 distance is basically given as an, and I've already found out what is this. So from here I can definitely find the value of lambda as well, right? So if you just proceed by this way, so you will find out that our this particular ratio over here is nothing but it is coming out as cot of theta. Okay, so if you just try to do this part, you will get it that this is basically coming out as cot of theta. So lambda is basically coming out as cot of theta, and so tan inverse of, so tan theta is basically 1 by 2, so cot theta is going to be equal to 2, right? So from here you'll get the relation of theta, lambda is basically equal to 2, right? So we'll get only one possible root of lambda, which is equal to 2. I hope this question is clear to all of you, right? So from here, we will have the option as C, which is the correct answer for this particular problem. I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? This was little bit tricky, but I solved it by using trigonometry, right? Now, if you have some different methods of solving this, you can definitely go with it, right? So what I would also suggest is that to try out that we know that this a n distance is basically going to be lambda times this entire distance, right? So because it is basically divided in the ratio lambda is to 1. So what I can do, so lambda by lambda plus 1 times the total length of AB, which is root 2. So this should be divided by lambda plus 1. That should be equal to a n distance, right? So from here also you can definitely solve for it, right? So what you can also do is that you know the coordinates of B and you know the coordinates of A, right? Which is basically 1 comma 0, and this is basically 0 comma 1. So from here you can simply use this section formula. So if you just use the section formula, is going to get 1 upon lambda plus 1 comma lambda upon lambda plus 1, right? So from this particular section formula you can see that a n distance would be like this. So from here also you can get one solution for lambda also. So that particular value of lambda you can also get it from here also, right? So that is something also one more way of solving it, right? I tried to solve it by simply using trigonometry because I felt that this will be easier for all of you to understand, right? So I hope this part of the solution is clear to all of you. Please let me know in the comments on the live chat if it is clear or not. I hope this part is clear to all of you, right? This is very simple and straightforward, right? So if you just use the simple trigonometry relations and you try to approach the algebra, okay, you will definitely get it. Okay, so this particular thing is clear to all of you. With this, let's move to the next problem. So again, we have a problem where basically we have to basically find out the point of intersection of the coordinates of the triangles. Okay, so if I look at the problem, so we are basically given a problem where the sides of the triangle are basically given in the equation of the line form, right? So this particular equation, let us say it is 7x minus 6y plus 3 is equal to 0, and this particular equation is given as 9x minus 2y minus 19 is equal to 0, and this particular side is given as, so okay, and this particular side is given as x plus 2y minus 31 is equal to 0. So from here, I just need to find out this a, b, and c coordinates, right? Which you can simply do it by solving any of the two straight line equation, right? So if you just try to solve this any of the two straight line equation, you will definitely get this points a, b, and c, right? So what I have got by solving this 7x minus 6y plus 3 is equal to 0 and x plus 2y minus 31 is equal to 0 as a as 9 comma 11. Okay, and I got this point b, and I got this point b over here. So this is point b, I got this point c. Okay, so I got this point b over here as 3 comma 4. Oh, sorry, I got this was point c only. Okay, so this is point B, this is point C. I got this point C as 5 comma 13. Okay, you can solve it by yourself, and I got this point B as 3 comma 4. Okay, you can just simply solve it by yourself also, you will get it the same results. Okay, so I got this particular result as follows, right? Now if I have the coordinates of the different points of the triangle, then I can simplify the centroid. So our centroid G will simply be equal to summation of x1 plus x2 plus x3 divided by 3 comma y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3, right? So from here I will simply get the centroid. I'll simply get the center of this triangle ABC as, so if you just calculate, it will be 17 upon 3 comma 28 upon 3. Okay, Now you have to find the image of the centroid of the triangle ABC in this particular line. Like now for image, let us try to recall the concept. So if it is a given equation of a line, and let us say we have point alpha, or let us say alpha comma beta, and the equation of the line is given as ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Now there are multiple ways to solve for the image of a point about a straight line, right? So what I can do now, you know that if I say that the image of this point is p dash, let us call this alpha dash and beta dash. Okay, let us call this alpha dash and beta dash. So I will know that this particular line is going to be perpendicular to this particular given line. So what I can do, I can try to find out the equation of the slope of, or slope of pp dash, and that multiplied with the slope of this particular line should be equal to -1, because they are perpendicular lines. Next, what I can do, I will find out this midpoint. I will find out this midpoint of pp dash, and that will definitely lie on this particular equation of straight line, right? Because it's a mirror. So from that also I can solve it. Now, and if you just recall from the formula, the formula for image, okay. So if I just need to find out alpha dash and beta dash, the image formula is basically given as, is very straightforward. Okay, that is basically, so let us say this particular image alpha dash and beta dash. So for finding out, we will basically use a formula, alpha dash minus alpha divided by a is equal to beta dash minus beta divided by b is equal to minus of 2 times of, now you will put this alpha comma beta in this equation of straight line, and we'll get it as a alpha plus b beta plus c divided by a square plus b square. Okay, so if you just simply apply this particular relation, you are basically going to find out the image of the particular point about the any straight line, right? So if you just see over the problem, so in this problem we have the centroid as 17,3 and 17 by 3 comma 28 by 3, right? So that is my point. So that is my point alpha beta, right? 17 by 3 comma 28 by 3, right? And the equation of a straight line about which I have to reflect it is 3x plus 6y minus 53 is equal to 0, right? So that is going to be 3x plus 6y minus 53 is equal to 0. So from here I can simplify alpha dash and beta dash, right? So I will just put that into this particular equation, I will get my relations, right? So if you just put it into this particular relation, you'll get this alpha dash as simply as 3 and beta dash as simply as 4, right? Now it is said that that particular image what you are getting is basically given as h comma k. So you have to find out what is the value of h square plus k square plus hk, right? So what I got the image as 3 comma 4. So the h is basically equal to 3 and k is basically equal to 4. So from this particular result, I'll get h square plus k square plus hk is going to be equal to 25 plus 12, that is going to be equal to 37. So from here you can see option number B is going to be the correct answer. I hope this particular part of the solution is clear to all of you, right? This was a very straightforward problem. You just have to do only the calculations part, right? Please let me know in the comment live chat if this is not clear or if you have any questions. I hope this part is straightforward, right? This part is fairly straight, right? So just you don't need to find out the coordinates of the points of the triangle, and from that coordinate you have to find out the centroid. We know how to find the centroid, and just by using the concept of reflection of a point about a straight line or the image of a point about a straight line, we just found out what is the value of the image about the given line, right? So from that also I am basically able to find out the given relation, right? So this part of the solution is clear to all of you. Please let me know in the live chat. I hope this part of the solution is clear to all of you, right? So with this, let's move to the next problem. And next problem is again one more interesting problem. So I would like to all of you to please go through this particular problem before we actually start or proceed for this solution. Okay. So please try to solve this problem by yourself. Try to figure out that what is the basic need of this particular problem. Okay. And what is that, how to solve this problem. Let us try to figure it out, right? So if you just recall that this question is talking about an isosceles triangle, right? Now, if you just recall the property of an isosceles triangle, that in an isosceles triangle, if the this particular side and this particular side are equal, then their corresponding angles with the other side is also equal. So this particular theta is also equal to this particular theta, right? This is something that we already know for an isosceles triangle, right? So it is said that the two of the equal sides, so over here in this problem I have a and b, and a and c are the equal sides. So these two sides are basically given by the equation like this, right? I hope this is clear. Now what is said it further is that the m is basically said as the slope of the third side. So this particular side, the slope is given as m. Okay, So slope of the side BC is basically given as m. So I have to find out the sum of all possible distinct values of m. So basically I have to find out the summation of the roots of m, right? So all the possible roots m, I have to find the sum of it, right? So how to solve this problem? So if we just check it over here, so so if you recall that if you have this particular slope m, and from this particular equation of straight line, I can find out the slope of this line AB, which is basically equal to 1 upon 2, and the slope of the line AC, which is basically given as minus of 1, right? So if I have the slope of the adjacent lines, I can simply find the angle between two straight lines. So what is the concept between the angle between straight line? The concept is that the angle between the straight line, that is given as tan theta, is basically given as m1 minus m2 divided by 1 plus m1 m2 and mod of it, because we are talking about the acute angle. Right. So if I just equate this tan theta from m1 m and m2 m, we are going to get the same result. So what I will do, I'll just try to get two equations. That is, I will first put m1 minus m divided by 1 plus m1 into m, and that should be equal to m2 minus m divided by 1 plus m2 into m, right? So from here, I'll get one quadratic equation in m, right? So that particular quadratic equation will definitely give you the two distinct solutions for m. So if you just try to solve it further, what you will feel, what you will see over here. So let us try to solve it. Since we have a mod over here, okay, so you can just put a mod over here, doesn't matter. So you can change it by yourself. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm writing is m minus of 1 by 2 divided by 1 plus m by 2 is equal to m plus 1 divided by 1 minus m. Okay, so from here, if you try to simplify this relation, so from that part, if you try to simplify the relation, there is going to be 2m minus 1 divided by 2 plus m is equal to m plus 1 divided by m minus 1, right? So if you just cross multiply and take it, we will get 2m square 2m square minus 3m plus of 1 is equal to m square plus 3m plus of 2, right? So from here you can simplify and you get a quadratic in m, and that is basically going to be equal to m square minus 6m minus of 1 is equal to 0, right? And now if you recall, in any quadratic equation, if we have two roots as m1 and m2, because we already used the m1 m2 notation, so let us call this m1 dash and m2 dash. So I know the sum of the roots of any quadratic equation is basically given as minus of b upon a, if the quadratic equation is as basically as ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, right? So from this particular quadratic equation, we can simply find out the sum of the root, that is m1 dash plus m2 dash, is basically going to be equal to minus of minus 6 by 1, and that is going to be equal to 6. Right. So the sum of the possible roots of m. So m is basically nothing but the slope of this line BC, right? So all the whatever roots are there for m, if I take the sum of the roots of the m, or what is basically asked, the sum of all possible distinct values of m. So I have a quadratic equation, so there will be only two distinct values of m, right? So from that distinct value, if you take the sum of the roots, it is going to come out as 6, right? So from here you can see the option number D is going to be the correct answer for this particular problem, right? So our D is going to be the correct answer. So sum of the possible roots for m is going to be equal to 6. I hope this part of the solution is clear to all of you. Please let me know in the live chat if this is clear. I hope this part is clear. If you have any questions, you can definitely feel free to ask over here, okay? Any slight question if you have, don't keep it as a doubt, okay? If you have any sort of questions, please ask it, okay? You can see the questions are very straightforward, okay? You just have to do some of the important manipulations, okay? And from here, you can definitely get to the solutions, okay? So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we can proceed with the next problems. Okay. All right. So I'm basically going through a live chat. So I hope you have no more questions. So let's proceed with the next problem then. So the next problem, again, we have, now this is an interesting problem, okay? Now its problem says that A and B are the point of intersection of a circle and a hyperbola. Now these types of problems are very much common in the JEE Mains, okay? Because they will try to club more than one chapter into one particular problem, okay? So if you just look at straight lines, it won't be directly the questions of straight lines. It will also include the conic sections, okay? So in this problem, it is said that, so let us try to figure out the diagram first of all. Now these types of problems are not very difficult. They just simply use the basic concepts, okay? They try to ask the question in a different manner just to make you afraid that the question is difficult, but it is not even difficult problem, okay? So if you just try to figure it out, so that if you try to draw the diagram for this particular problem, So it is said that I have a circle x square. So I hope you have already covered circle. So this, because it is a revision session, so I am basically doing it fast. Okay, so if we have the equation circle like this, so from this I can find the center of the circle simply as 4 comma 0, right? And the radius of the circle is going to be equal to 4 units, right? So the center of the circle is going to be 4 comma 0 and the radius is 4 units, so it will pass to the origin, right? So this is going to be my circle, right? Please don't go by my drawing, okay? And if we look at, we have a hyperbola, okay? So the hyperbola intersect the x coordinate at 3 comma 0, or that is basically the vertex of the hyperbola, okay? Minus 3 comma 0 and 3 comma 0 are the vertex of the hyperbola, and it is the imaginary point is basically 0 comma 2 and 0 comma minus of 2, right? Now if you try to draw the hyperbola, this will be like this. So one of the branches of the hyperbola I'm drawing, okay? Because I will see that so it is said that A and B are the two intersection point, okay? So if you just look over here, this is going to be a point A and this is going to be a point B, right? So it is said that a point P moves on the line 2x minus 3y plus 4 is equal to 0, right? It is said that there is one point P which moves on the line this, and then you have to find out the centroid of the triangle PAB, right? So if we try to plot this straight line 2x minus 3 plus 4, so you can simply see that if you put y is equal to 0, x is equal to be 2, right? And if you put x equal to 0, y is equal to be 4 upon 3. Sorry, it is going to be minus 2 comma 0, okay? So let me draw it over here. So it is going to be minus 2 comma 0 and it is going to be equal to 4 upon 3, okay? 4 upon 3, 0 comma 4 upon 3. So the line is like this, okay? So it is said that there is a point P. Let us consider the point P as an arbitrary point A comma B, okay? Now A comma B lies on this particular line, and I have to find out the center of the triangle PAB, right? So if I try to do it, so how am I going to do it, right? Now that is an important problem over here. So before we start with the problem, let us try to find out what are the coordinates of the point A and sorry, the triangle is B, right? So it should be like this, yeah. Fine. Yeah. So I have to find the triangle PAB, right? So let us first of all find out the coordinates of the point A and B, right? That is simply given by the point of intersection of the circle and the hyperbola, right? So our hyperbola is basically given as x square minus x square by 9 minus y square by 4 is equal to 1. That is my equation of hyperbola, and my equation of circle is going to be x square plus y square minus 8x is equal to 0, right? So what I can do over here, I just try to solve these two equations, okay? So I can write this simple first equation as 4x square minus 9y square is equal to 36, right? And if I just try to multiply this particular second equation, okay, and if I just try to, or if I just try to take out, y square is equal to 8x minus x square, and I just try to put it over here, I'll get a quadratic in x, right? So that particular thing will become 4x square minus 9 times of 8x minus x square is equal to 36. So from this part, you'll get a quadratic in x like 13x square minus 72x minus 36 is equal to 0, right? So from here, you will see a quadratic in 13x square minus 72x minus 36 is equal to 0, right? So from this part, you will have two equal roots in x. So one of the root I am getting as basically 6, one of the root as 6, and one of the root as minus 6 by 13, right? Now I will reject this minus 6 by 13, because if you put minus 6 by 13, your y square is coming as negative, right? Y square is negative, that means y is imaginary, that cannot be possible. So I will go with the solid. So this is not possible, so I will go with x equal to 6. And if you put x equal to 6, y is real, okay? Now if you put x equal to 6, your y's are coming as, so you will have two y's. One of the y is basically square root of 12 and another y is minus of square root of 12, okay? So you will get two y's, that is point A is basically 6 comma square root 12 and point B is 6 comma minus square root 12, okay? So I will write it over here, it is going to be 6 comma minus square root of 12, right? So I have the coordinates of A as well as B. So our A is basically 6 comma square root 12, okay? So I have coordinates of A and B, and I have an unknown point P which is lying on the particular line, right? So from here also I can eliminate A in terms of B. So what I will do, I will put 2A plus of 4 is divided by 3 is going to be equal to b. So from this point P, I can simply write this point P also as a comma 2a plus 4 divided by 3, right? And now if I try to find out the center of the triangle, so from this part, if I try to find out the centroid of triangle PAB, and let us call the centroid as h comma k, so that h is basically equal to, so that I will get the h is basically equal to 6 plus small a, 6 plus small a divided by 3, 6 plus small a divided by 3, and I will get k as, and I will get k simply as, this k I will get is basically as, you can check it over here that you will get it as 2a. So this this y coordinate and y coordinate will cancel out because plus and minus is there. So you'll get 2a plus 4 by 3 divided by 3, right? So you'll get 2a plus 4 divided by 9. That is what we are going to have it as k, right? I hope this part is clear. Okay, 2a plus 4 by 9, right? So now from here, what is said in the question, if you recall, that it is said that you have to find out or eliminate the locus of the centroid, right? So if you just see that, you have to basically tell you that, or in this question, you have to basically report the center of this triangle PAB lies on the line. So in these options, you see that the options are basically given as a locus. Okay, so I have to basically find out the locus of h comma k, that is a centroid, right? So if I just try to eliminate, a, so I will get a is basically as 3h minus 12, and I try to put it over here because a is a unknown or the variable. So if I just try to put it over here, I will get basically k is basically equal to 2 times of 3h minus 12 plus of 4 divided by 9. So from this part, I will get the value of the locus. Okay, now this is a locus problem. So the locus is basically going to be equal to 6x minus 24 plus of 4, that is going to be minus of 10 and 20, minus of 20 divided by 9 is equal to y. So from here you will see that the locus equation can be simply written as 6x minus 9y minus 20 is equal to 0. So from here you will get the equation of the centroid of that particular point PAB will lie on this following, that is option number D over here. That is, you are going to have the answer as option number D, that is 6x minus 9y is equal to 20. I hope this particular problem is simple and straightforward to all of you, right? Please let me know if you have any questions or query in this particular problem. So this problem was a really interesting problem. It was a problem of a locus problem. Okay. So if you just try to understand this problem, okay, over here it is saying that first of all you found out the coordinates of the point A and B, and then it is said that a variable point P lies on this particular line. So from that variable point, I am able to eliminate these 2 points. And what is the locus condition? The locus condition is basically the h comma k, that is the center of the triangle. I have to find it out. So I know the locus is basically given as summation of abscissa divided by 3, comma summation of ordinate divided by 3. So from that I can definitely find out the locus, and from the locus I can find out the given from the particular centroid. I am able to find out the locus in terms by eliminating the given unknown a, right? So this is how you have to basically approach any general locus problems in your exam. Okay, I hope this problem is simple and straightforward, right? So please let me know if you have any questions, otherwise we can proceed to the next problem. Okay, so I have some more problems over here. So you can see this problem, it's a very simple problem which basically deals with a location of a point with respect to a straight line. So please try to recall this particular concept as your homework problem, okay? And please let me know the answer you are getting in the comment section, okay? I will definitely be there to help you out with this solution of this if you are not able to get it. But I would definitely love that please try to solve this problem first of all, and then tell me what is the answer you are getting from it, okay? So this is some of a homework problem for all of you. Now let's move to the next problem. The next problem is again another interesting problem. Now this problem discuss about the important points about the triangle, right? So let me discuss that how we are going to basically start with this problem, right? So it is said that in a triangle, now if you recall from a basics geometry, that in a triangle, the circumcenter, orthocenter and the centroid are divided in the ratio 2:1. Okay. So this centroid is divided by the circumcenter. So I'm calling circumcenter and orthocenter O in the ratio 2:1, right? So this is something that you have already studied in your basics of geometry, right? So it is said that if the orthocenter of a triangle formed by the lines, so let us say that lines of the triangle are basically given as like this, okay, and other line is basically given as this. Okay, so it is said that the orthocenter of this particular triangle formed by the lines over here is basically and is the centroid of another triangle whose circumcenter and orthocenter are given as that, right? So it is said that the orthocenter of this particular triangle A, B and C, the circumcenter of this particular triangle, the circumcenter of this particular triangle, sorry, the orthocenter of this particular triangle OAB, orthocenter of triangle ABC is equal to centroid of triangle with of a triangle whose 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 circumcenter is given as 3 comma 4 and orthocenter is given as minus 6 comma minus 8. So from here you can simply find the centroid of this particular triangle. So if to find out centroid is nothing but it is dividing the circumcenter and orthocenter in the ratio 2:1, right? So if you just try to apply that particular relation over here, you'll definitely get out the centroid from here, right? So let me try to solve the centroid from here. So the circumcenter is given as 3 comma 4 and the orthocenter is given as minus 6 comma minus 8, right? All right, yeah. So proceeding with this, okay. So what I can see that in our centroid of the triangle of any triangle divides the circumcenter and the orthocenter, that is basically minus 6 comma minus 8 in the ratio 2:1, right? So from this I can simply find the centroid by using the section formula as 2 into 3 minus 6 divided by 3 comma, it will be 2 into 4 minus 8 divided by 3. So from here I will get the centroid of this particular triangle as so if you find out the centroid is going to be equal to 0 comma 0, right? Very simple. So you got the centroid of this particular triangle whose circumcenter and orthocenter are given is basically the 0 comma 0 or the origin, and this particular centroid is equal to the orthocenter of this particular triangle ABC. So the orthocenter of this particular triangle ABC, so let us call the orthocenter O, so it is basically given as origin, right? So if I have the orthocenter as origin of any triangle, what is basically orthocenter? Orthocenter is basically the intersection of the perpendicular bisector, right? So what I'm going to do first of all, so in order to solve this problem, what I first of all find it out, that is I'll first of all find it out this particular slope of the line AO. Okay, so if I just try to find out the slope of the line AO, I'll get this particular slope as simply as, so our point A. Now first of all let me find out this point A. So our point A is given by the intersection of these two lines. So point is basically going to be equal to minus 1 comma 1, right? So slope of the line AO is going to be equal to, so if you just find out the slope of the line AO, and this is also perpendicular to this particular line, so from here this particular slope is basically minus of A by B. So the line perpendicular to this BC is going to be having the slope B by A, right? So this is going to have the slope B by A. So B by A, so I can write this particular line have the slope B upon A, right? Also the equation of the line, this OC, the equation of the line OC is simply given out as, because I have this particular side and I can simply write this part, right? So this particular line OC can be simply given as y is equal to 3 by 2 times of h, right? You can just check it from here because this is the origin is given over here, and this is the orthocenter, which is the origin of the triangle, and from this part you have one coordinate, right? So you have this particular slope, so you can find out this particular angle, so you can also find out this particular angle, right? So from here you can find out this equation of this line OC as y is equal to 3 by 2 times of x. Right. So our point C is lying on this particular line x plus 2y is equal to 1, and this particular line intersection of this y is equal to 3x by 2. From here, you'll find that this point C is basically going to be equal to 1 upon 4 comma 3 by 8. 1 upon 4 comma 3 by 8. Right. Now this particular point C, that is 1 upon 4 comma 3 by 8, 3 by 8 lies on ax plus by minus 1 is equal to 0. So from here, you'll get a solution that is a by 4 plus 3 by 8 times of b is equal to 1, right? And also you have the relation as a plus b is equal to 0. So from this part, you'll get the value of the a is basically equal to minus of 8, and you will also get the value of b as equal to and value of b is basically equal to plus of 8, right? So from this part, you can simply find out a minus b mod of 8 is going to be equal to 16. So our numerical value of the problem for this part is going to be equal to simply as 16, right? I hope this part is clear to all of you. It was simply the use of the basic properties of a triangle, right? So with this part, I am basically done with discussing about the most important concepts or the topics of the straight lines. Okay, now you know the time is limited for us, so we are not going to discuss all and each and every problem. So some of the problem I have given as homework, so please try to solve that particular problem as a homework problem. Okay, so this is a homework problem. Please try to solve this particular problem and let me know the answer you're getting in the comment sections. Okay, so I will look forward for your answers in the comment section, and I hope this particular session has been fruitful to all of you, and I hope you are able to understand this particular session nicely and clear. Okay, so with this, let us stop our session over here, and we will proceed with the upcoming topics in the next upcoming sessions. And I wish you all the best. Please revise these problems. Please try to make short notes and keep on revising that part as you are going on solving questions. With this, I will take a leave, and thank you.